Grontheim Valley, a town that has been a large focal point of the lore ever since Red Norway was first coined as a theory. A town that showcases the strong partisan resistance against the oppressive Soviet regime better than any other. It is time we analyze this map and attempt to understand what exactly happened in the Battle of Grontheim. Before we really get into this, we should first review the basics. Number 1. When we observe maps in Vigor, we are observing them in their final state. Number 2. Prop placement, when mapped and analyzed, can be used to make conclusions about the map's history. Also, we should review the basic props that will be used on this map. Starting off with the Soviet BMP, which is a Soviet APC. This is a Soviet tank. This is an APC, which for the purpose of this video will be classifying as a NATO APC. However, those of you who have been following the lore for a long time know the complications with this prop, which I will be returning to clarify in a future video. So now we can use that information to analyze what is occurring on this map. So, what is happening? Grøntheim is a town rebelling against the Soviet occupation. We know that the Soviets occupied the town due to the various graffiti and signs strewn about calling for resistance and rebellion against the Soviets. We can also see from the map that the Soviets held both the north and south road out of the town due to their armor being in both spots. We can also see that the partisan forces were able to use their cars and resources to barricade off several regions across the map, to not only make the roads more untraversable for the Soviets, but to also hold the areas for themselves out of Soviet domination. However, not all of the city is just rebelling. Some of it is still holding out against the Soviet siege. These areas near the center of the city still hold many NATO APCs and are likely the remains of the Norwegian garrison who defended the town when it was first attacked, wrecks of which we can see in the far south and by the river, who are now just trying to prevent the town from falling. With all of this known, we can now accurately map out the series of events that occurred at Grøntheim. First, a Soviet armor column advanced on the town, quickly overwhelming defenders in the south. Then, this column swung north quickly. The garrison units that were defending retreated quickly back behind the river. However, an APC was left behind and destroyed by the Soviet armor. The armor then swung north using the North Bridge to encircle the garrison units, before beginning to siege them. The garrison units used an overturned truck as cover and began guerrilla warfare to try and hold the town. The Soviets left behind a small siege unit to continue the attack, and with their main column swung north. From here, they destroyed 2 retreating NATO APCs and established a checkpoint at the top of the map, while the rest of the column advanced towards Kyrsten and eventually towards the Battle of Kyrsten. Meanwhile, on Grøntheim, the garrison held and the rebellions began to break out across the map, leading to the roads becoming untraversable. This development meant that the Soviets were quickly unable to resupply their front lines at Kyrsten, as they had to hold control over Grøntheim, and it meant that many pieces of Soviet armor had to hang back to ensure control of the town wouldn't be lost. In total, 9 pieces of Soviet armor had to stay in this region rather than advancing, development which would ultimately cost them the Battle of Kyrsten. The fact that the city was holding out against a siege also likely explains why NATO had moved so much armor in the Battle of Kyrsten. NATO likely had goals of relieving and liberating the town, a goal that likely would have occurred should nuclear annihilation not have occurred due to NATO winning the Battle of Kyrsten. The context of just how major a loss Kyrsten was and how much resources were swallowed up by Grøntheim makes it even more clear that the Soviets were quickly collapsing before the nukes were launched, making it more and more apparent who actually shot the nukes first. But that's really all I've got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time.